Wow, goodness. It is currently 4:40, and I am on, and I won't lie, this is my like sixth attempt at trying to record with a water bottle behind my phone, and hopefully I'll find a better way to record. I'll probably end up just finding a place to stop. In the previous attempts that I've made recording this, and I believe this will be the final one, hopefully, I was talking about dating. And to preface this, I have not been in a dating relationship as of yet. I could change after the upload. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have any people that or women that I have in mind just yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and just pull over here and just sit here a moment. Honestly, with the way that the world works nowadays, anybody can be accused of anything. A woman could genuinely, and I'm not making them out to be a bad guy, because look, the reality is there are bad men out there. There are bad men and there are bad women. Just like there are good men and there's good women. And when I say this, it's more so out of what I notice as a man, the fear of being accused, of being called a rapist, a sexual assaulter, for some, like, glancing. You can't even go to the gym without having some woman get offended that you barely even looked in direction when you're not even looking at any of her body parts. You're just kind of like looking around the gym after a set, because that's how I am. Genuinely, that's how I am. I look all around. I don't look at any particular person. I don't look at any particular woman. I'm just a guy that tends to kind of have my mind wander a little bit. Now, mind you, sometimes that wandering eye can be not a good thing. Men, you can't wander too much, because you're going to find something you don't need. And I'm not just talking about real life either. It's online too. You can go find yourself a porn site somehow. You can find yourself a sexting site somehow. Or end up finding a woman that can sell you pictures for like $5 a pop. Or even more than that. Heck, they have a site that's dedicated to that. And it's not even Pornhub. It's OnlyFans. And that's sad. I mean, there's so many areas where life tends to kind of slow down because of the choices you can make when it comes to dating, especially because you don't know who to trust. And the point being is trying to find somebody you can trust and have not only a friendship and a romantic relationship with, it's somebody you can have a life with. And it's not just, finding the one. I believe the one, in a lot of cases, is the person God sets before you. And you can either say yes or no to. I believe if you say yes or no to them, you have two different roads to go on. You can stay single, and that's your choice, and it might help you, but it can also hinder you, because God may have you be married and have everything that He wants you to do. Now, I don't mean to talk about all this spiritual stuff, but this is, well, I do mean to, matter of fact, because this is an important part of my life. And for those who are watching that they don't quite understand it. They see it as silly. They see people talk about things that makes no sense. It's like finding the one. I mean, here's the thing. In fiction, a lot of the time, the one is, the super popular person that has all the aesthetics of a beautiful person, that attractive, funny, and gets along with everybody. And then I'm trying to remember. Like, you would see a lot of those teen heartthrob movies, or all those teen Disney movies, you know, those Disney Channel movies, like, I'm trying to remember. Man, to be honest, I don't even really remember those names. But I remember Geek Charming. That was an okay movie, but it felt a little unrealistic. Not because, oh, it's the geeky guy getting with the popular girl as a fantasy. Even though a lot of the time, surprisingly, it's 50-50. It depends on the person. Like, the popular girl might like that because he's got a particular mind, or he has a particular way of handling things, but it's just 50-50. That's not a realistic way of thinking. It's like, oh, I like the elements where they get to know each other, they actually take time to want to find out about each other, and they end up liking each other, and blah, 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 and then falling in love later on. But it's like, reality is, you're not going to just fall in love with someone immediately. Even if you feel like it. Look, emotions, a lot of the time, as men, it will fail us. Because a lot of the time, sometimes that emotion's feeling, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, feeling horny. Like, sometimes you don't need to work with those actions, that feeling. You know what I mean? Not actions, but put those emotions into action. Because, like, let's be honest, sleeping around has existed for a long time. Even the Bible talks about it. Like, two of the most famous kings in the Bible, King David and King Solomon, were known for their adultery. Mind you, they repented. I'm not so sure about Solomon. I need to look a little bit more. He fell off at one point and then got back up. Got back with God. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to need to read through both stories again, because they're very wonderful stories. But it's unfortunate how one of their vices was adultery, because David and Bathsheba. What was David doing the whole time while he was in the kingdom? Not out with his soldiers? He was staring at another person's wife outside, watching her bathe, when he should have been out in the battle. Next thing you know, I think his name is Uzziah, her first husband, Bathsheba's husband, Uzziah, was put up into the front lines. And I think he was tricked or brought into battle after not getting any rest or something like that. I'm going to reread this story. Matter of fact, I'm going to reread it tonight because it's an interesting but very particular case where what happens when you use, and I don't mean to sound crass, when you use when you're using the second head rather than your brain. Because even in that point, you know, let's just say the brain. Because at the end of the day, I don't say these things to just try to spark, you know, rage in you. It's just stuff that I feel like it needs to be said. Guys will be horny. That's the thing. They can hide it. They certainly can. But other men won't, especially outside of the church. Matter of fact, I mean, I mentioned this in the previous video, but one of the reasons why that relationship fell apart, unfortunately, was due to some uncontrolled sin and desires in his life. And still, I won't go into detail. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, and I'm not going to name names. But the reality is, and why I'm talking about this is more of the male perspective. And I want you to understand, ladies, we want to be with you. We want to be around you because you are In our minds, you're an unobtainable thing to win. Maybe not a thing, an unobtainable person in our lives. If that makes sense. If you get what I'm saying. I think I'm going to go ahead and back out of this parking spot and maybe just drive around the neighborhood a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And we get in our own heads a lot about how we should approach you. And it's not your fault. And it's not because you're not attractive to us. It's not because you're not charming to us. It's probably because we're scared of saying the wrong thing, acting the wrong way, because there's so many of us that have been a poor example to you or maybe some other woman that you're bitter and angry at. And I can't really apologize for their behavior, but I'll say this much. I apologize for the poor representation of an actual real man. A real man has his own identity. A real man loves people. A real man expresses his emotion in a way to where people can understand him and not just be an emotional hot mess. Thing is, men have feelings, but they operate a little different. They do the same things as any emotions will do, but they operate different. Like, for instance, when a man's angry, he feels like he has to lash out physically. Actions, a lot of the time, are a men's thing. Now, I'm not saying women don't do things that they don't want to do action-wise. But most of the time, they say words that they're hurtful. Honestly, they're hurtful. While men, they throw a fit. They can argue. Genuinely, I've met some men that are like really horribly mean-mouthed. Like, genuinely. They will sit there and badmouth you to kingdom come. However, but there's also guys, traditionally, that have that desire to break something, that desire to do something, but we don't act upon it. Now, there's also examples of men going to that direction and hurting with it. That is completely unacceptable. Completely. Genuinely. It's not right. It never will be right. It should never be excused. Especially when it comes to marital abuse. That's wrong. Absolutely. Whether it's physical, verbal, and emotional, it does not matter. It is wrong on every level. And it doesn't matter which gender it is, too. Because it's going to be, from what I understand, from other people's lives that I've seen, not in my own experience, it hurts on both ends, no matter how you want to phrase it. Women can be just as vile as men, but not with actions, but with their words, with the way that they can say something that can genuinely hurt a man and make them give up. Women, you have such an important role in our lives. That's why we want you in our lives, because we want someone there in our corner saying, I believe in you, I love you. That's what we want. We don't need yoga pants and sports bras and you taking Instagram photos of yourself. And let's be honest, it's not just in the secular world, it's in the Christian world too. I'm not going to name names because that's not my job to do that. I'm here to discuss, that's it. We live in a world where images for men can be found everywhere. Everywhere. Whether it's secular or non-secular circles. That's the saddest thing. Our men's vision guides them. while a woman's words and emotion guide them a lot of the time. And also, I'll preface this, a lot of the time, women tend to be a little bit more spiritual than men. They do. They really do, surprisingly. However, they still deal with their emotions. Guys, if we see one of y'all looking real good in one of those outfits, we're not going to help ourselves sometimes. We need to. And honestly, why are we even in a place where we're looking at that? Matter of fact, that's probably why I'm wanting to leave the gym that I'm currently at Crunch Fitness. It's a fantastic place. Mind you, it's just everywhere. Everywhere. They're wearing clothing that brings attention to them. And we get blamed for looking at them. Like, well, why are you wearing it in the first place? And you've heard this argument so many different times. But it's like, if you truly respect your body, if you truly have value for it, why show it off? Why show it off in the first place? That's attention seeking. You're grabbing everybody else's attention, wearing those tight yoga pants or whatever leggings that you wear at the gym, and then just wearing the sports bra and having the midriff. I'm not saying you need to wear a dress to a gym, but you can wear a t-shirt over your sports bra. You can wear something to cover up. You don't have to take the shirt off. You can keep it on. Heck, I'll say this much. Guys need to just chill out with having their shirts off. Genuinely. If you are not a bodybuilder, if you are not actually being paid to show off that muscle, why are you wearing these kind of shirts in the first place? Why are you having it off in the first place? Don't show off. The gym is not a place for people to show off. It's for them to build. Now, mind you, I will also say this. I don't say this to just be angry and rant. I say this because it's frustration that I see within myself. And I see in others sometimes. I'm just saddened that not only we cannot even look in the direction of a woman without them going like, who are you looking at? You know, why are you looking at me? And then have a guy walk up possibly and call you a creep, which has never happened to me, but I've heard of other cases where it's happened, where I'm like, that's kind of uncalled for. Why would you do that to them? They haven't done anything to that to you. And mind you, how can I say this? We live in a world where it's easily anything can be said, done, whether it's in the gym, whether it's in a restaurant, and shared throughout social media. Social media, excuse me. I have a weird lisp due to my teeth, bottom teeth here, but social media, where anything can be spread. Even in the streaming world, anything can be spread, whether true or not. I mean, take a look at the whole Hassan thing going on. I don't mention it because it's a popular thing, but I find it kind of ridiculous. This guy, who's known for being look, and I don't like bringing politics in this, but I gotta say this, who's a politically uber left person who speaks hate and vitriol all the time about America, and that doesn't get anybody's attention up until there's an actual dog that's in danger? Huh? Y'all, that makes no sense. Why are y'all talking about... Now, mind you, animal abuse is wrong, and what he did with this dog is wrong. I'm not saying what he did was right. No, far from it. I hope he gets in a lot of trouble because of that crap. I do. And honestly, I'm not surprised he's losing his fan base. I'm not. He's actually a just deplorable human being. Like, I've seen so many of his stuff where it's like, it's always hating on America. America's not a perfect place, I get it. But there's criticism, then there's just hatred. You just hate Americans. You genuinely do. You hate being here. If you hate being here so much, go somewhere else. Go complain. You know what's funny, though? If we tell him that, then he's going to go somewhere else and complain about the country he's living in. Let's be honest, because there's no place on earth that is perfect. With mind you of saying the whole Hassan thing, I'm going to get back to where the talk I kept saying. Anything can be shared, whether true or false. Like the whole case with Dream. A lot of those allegations were false and just people just trying to be mean and make him look bad. Mind you, he was already ruining his whole career on YouTube anyway. At this point, heck, I wouldn't be surprised if he sees this and is like, oh, who's this idiot talking about me? If he does, that's on him. Heck, if Hassan does anything on this video, I don't care. I don't care. I'm relatively just new to this whole thing. Well, the point being, anything can be shared so quickly. It's scary to go out there and want to go out on the internet and find somebody. Because, look, personally for me, I'm a man who does not want to have a woman who is so open to the idea of being loose, being available, and to put it more bluntly, easily can open her legs to any guy she wants to date. Women, I'm going to say this much to you. I love y'all. You're an important part of God's creation for men. Your bodies are sacred. They're a beautiful thing. And I'm not saying this because I'm a man. I'm saying this as a person who believes in the Lord Jesus Christ. Your body is sacred. Your body is an important thing. Please recognize that. There's value to what you have, what you bring. And you're devaluing yourself every time when it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Guys, you're devaluing yourself. You're giving yourself away. Virginity is not the wrong thing to do. Now, mind you, I still believe that if you are that kind of person that's had that kind of past, and you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, you're set free. You've been set free by salvation through the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. You deserve that. For those of you who haven't gotten to that point yet, take a look at that Nala lady. She's a fantastic example of what happens when God can transform somebody into something so much more. And how powerful that is, that she was able to get out of the pornography industry and marry a husband that is a Christian husband. And this was like a year and a half when all this happened. What in the world? You know what I mean? And this is what I preface is, any woman who believes that they are not valuable, you're wrong. Whether you've been in an abusive home, whether you've been in a perfectly wonderful, loving home, you are valuable. And that's why guys want you. Real men want you. Every woman on this planet is valuable. Young, old, short, tall, skinny, fat. You are valuable to someone in this world. You are valuable to the creator of the universe. And we live in a fallen, sin-filled world. We do. And this is why we have all these bad things happen. It's because we have sin in our lives and an enemy who hates us. That every time he sees us, he looks and sees the creator. Because it says in the word, we're made in the image of God. We are. We are. Ladies, that includes you. That includes you. That's why you're valuable. It's not because, oh, you have everything that a man doesn't, which in that case, yes, but you have such a value to a man's life. You have no idea how much it is hard to want to obtain the right girl that wants us back, that wants to love us back. That's why we're scared. That's the truth. We're in fear because if we think the wrong way, if we even talk to the wrong person, we're going to end up being more brokenhearted than we ever been before. If we end up with the wrong person, we're going to be even more brokenhearted than before. That's why we're scared. We feel like we're going to mess up somebody else's life. And we don't want to do that. Because we hear so many other men mess up so many stinking times. So many times. And that's why it scares me. And I'm willing to admit that. Ladies, we're men, willing to admit it or not, I'm one of the ones that is willing to admit it. We're afraid to talk to you because there are so many consequences from messing up. It messes up your lives. It messes up your family's lives. It messes up our lives and our family's lives, our both sets of friends' lives. There is a reality that we live every day that we can mess up so royally that we hurt so many people, directly or indirectly. That is what we're afraid of. That's what good men are afraid of. That is what I am afraid of. I don't say this to scare you and to make you think, oh, we need to be with a guy. No, do not be with a guy that doesn't have a backbone. If he does not have a backbone and he cannot control his penis, he does not need to be with you. That is the truth. If he cannot control what's between his legs, you need to make sure to give him a kick in the butt verbally out the door. That is the truth. For those of you who are stuck with a man like that, do yourself a favor. Get out of that relationship, please. If all he loves you for is your body, leave it. Get out of it. Men, I love you. I'm one of you. But you got to stop thinking what's between your legs. For once. We got to stop this nonsense from happening. We do. We got to stop having fatherless families. This has happened from generation to generation. We got to be the ones that stop it. We have to be the ones that start more families with actual fathers there. We have to be the ones that do that. And for those who are at a turning point, men that are at a turning point where they don't know where to go and where they feel like they're so deep, turn to Jesus, please. Turn to the Lord Jesus. He will save you. He will take you to places you never thought you'd be at. Genuinely. Love y'all, but we gotta stop being stupid. But we gotta stop being stupid. We gotta guard our hearts in a way where we're not only taking care of ourselves, but the people we want to take care of, including the women in our lives. We gotta stop being stupid. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. We gotta stop being stupid. We gotta stop letting our fear get in the way. And preface this, I'm going to say this much. For those of you who are like in high school, I believe you shouldn't even worry about dating. You're going to have attractions, you're going to have crushes, but you need to be more focused on who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, how in the world are you going to even want to be with somebody that you don't even really know? The reality is, if you don't know yourself, you're never going to have a good relationship. If you don't know your boundaries, if you don't know your limits, you don't know your standards, why? Why even try? Learn to love life without having a relationship. Now, mind you, if you have the opportunity and this girl actually likes you, I don't know. That's up for you to decide. Don't take everything I say as biblical. Because, like, I'm a human being. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to say stuff that might, I don't know. I'm not saying mess you up, but, like, take it with a grain of salt. Or, as another saying would say, eat the hay and spit out the sticks. Take everything that I'm saying as something to be considered for your lives. If you want to take it, take it. If you don't, don't. We got to stop being stupid about this. I hope and I pray that we live in a day and age where we're aware of this. And I believe it's happening more and more each day. And personally for me, I'm becoming more aware of the things in my life that I don't need to hold on to. Look, guys, we don't need pornography in our lives anymore. Guys, we don't need the AI chats. That's not a real woman. I'm sorry, no matter how much a text can make you feel good down there, it's never going to feel good as having a real relationship with somebody that cares and loves you. No matter how much an AI can pretend to be a wonderful woman, it can never replace a real one. And I'm saying this from a perspective of not having that special someone in my life. I'm saying this from a perspective of someone that's dealt with this stuff. The reality is, men, we can't rely on computers to give us what we need. We can't turn to technology. If we do that, we will fail as a generation. We will. I'm sorry, but that is the truth. And if you don't like hearing that, turn your butt around and go masturbate to your little AI girlfriend. Go ahead. I don't care if that hurts your feelings. I'm sorry. Get over it. I'm tired of it. I'm frustrated at the fact that you feel that's necessary in your life. For some of you, I'm sorry. I get it. You've been hurt. You feel like you're being turned away. You feel invisible. Maybe there's a reason why you're not dating anybody right now, because you have so much in your life you haven't dealt with that you feel like you got to run to this to mask the pain, to hide the pain. And this is not just coming from a place of hypocrisy. No, this is a place from, I'm aware that's where I was. That is where I was. That's why I went to pornography back then. Because it masked my problems. It made me see something that I wanted. And exactly with AI, all it is pornography for the brain. Pornography through words. And have all this sultry imagery of whether it's a fictional character, like from One Piece or Mario, or this random made-up girl that looks like the girl from your high school. Or from college, somewhere. I am not saying this to belittle you. I'm saying this because I want better for you. Because I want better for myself, dang it. And this is not a selfish thing. I'm being honest. I'm tired of living a life without people. I hate it. I hate living without people. Because people are an important part of our lives. Whether it's our families, whether it's our friends, or even a stranger that's down the street. We need people. And people need us. And people need Jesus. I'm going to talk to the Christian guys for a second. How are you going to go to your marriage bed and say, I'm going to be faithful to you, when you have that pornography problem? Or you keep texting that one girl that gives you that certain photos you want? How are you gonna go to your marriage bed, because the marriage bed is undefiled? Why are you gonna go to the marriage bed thinking you deserve sex from your wife when you can't even control yourself? Why do you think you deserve a relationship when you can't even control what you are dealing with? It's not just control either, it's giving to the Lord. Christian men, I'm going to dare to challenge you to understand this. Why are you feeling the need to have a girlfriend when you have not dealt with all these multiple issues in your life? Whether it be the abuse from family members, whether it be the mental issues that you have. Because guess what? We have mental issues, but it's never an excuse to not do anything with them. We have to do something with them. Whether it is through therapy, whether it is through the word, both. You have to do something to move forward. Stop making excuses. And this is not just me preaching. This is me preaching to myself. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses that do nothing but hinder you. That is the truth. That is the truth for me. That is the truth for any other guy who watches this. And I hope and I pray this reaches to the right person. I really do. And I have faith it will. And for those of you, everybody else watching, I hope, look, I hope an atheist watches this. I hope an Islamic person watches this. I invite everybody to watch these. Genuinely, I do. I believe you deserve a better life, and that's through Jesus Christ, not through the religion that you're believing in. An atheist, yes, you have a religion. You have faith in something. No matter how much you want to say, oh, I believe in nothing. No, you believe in those ideals. You have faith in those ideals. And you've heard that probably a lot lately. But I'm going to say this much to you. You deserve a life that's better than everything is empty, or my God is a master over me and a slave, and I'm his slave. That's not right. That is not right. And I'm going to leave you with this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave this with the women. You are an important thing in our lives. You are. But I'm not saying be open to allowing a man, any man into your life, but please have some grace for us. Have some grace. Please. We're not perfect, just like you. We've got our own problems, just like you. Give us time. Matter of fact, I don't say this because it's a pathetic attempt to reach out to somebody to date me. No, I say this because every man needs that chance. Okay? Everyone does. Everyone does. Just give us a chance. Thank you.